Situated in the center of the Rio Grande Valley, the City of McAllen is a great base to explore this bird-rich area. Both McAllen and the neighboring city of Mission have a wide range of hotels and RV parks to stay at, as well as many great restaurants. The Rio Grande Valley should be on every birder's bucket list. In this video, we visit 5 of our favorite birding areas in the McAllen area and what target species you may find at each site. The 762-acre Bentsen-Rio Grande State Park has an impressive bird list of 356 bird species. The park features an exhibit hall, coffee bar, gift shop, picnic areas, 7 miles of trails, a 2-story observation tower, bird blinds, and a nature center. Admission is $5, and the entrance gate is open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. A complimentary tram service is available year-round, and it departs at the visitor center every hour from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. One of the first birds that visitors typically encounter at the park is the stunning green jays. Small groups often hang around the visitor center throughout the year, and they are also common along the trails throughout the park. It is a tropical species that has a U.S. range restricted to South Texas. Despite their brightly colored plumage, they can be hard to spot among the leaves when moving through the woodlands. Thankfully, they can easily be viewed at one of several feeding stations located throughout the park. The clay-colored thrush is a uniformly warm brown bird that can easily be overlooked as it forages on the ground in search of earthworms. It also forages in trees and shrubs in search of berries. In the U.S., it is a year-round resident only in the Rio Grande Valley. The northern beardless pteranulate is a small, inconspicuous flycatcher that can be easily to overlook. It is most easily located by its loud peer calls. Within the United States, the northern beardless pteranulate is only found year-round in the Rio Grande Valley and during summer in southeastern Arizona. The Oxbow Lake is a resaca along the western edge of the park. This is a good place to look for a couple of specialty birds. The large and unmistakable ringed kingfisher is the largest kingfisher in North America. Although its U.S. range is restricted to South Texas, both Arizona and more recently New Mexico each have a single record. It often perches for long periods of time before diving into lakes and rivers to grab fish with its massive dagger-like bill. The Couch's kingbird is a yellow-bellied flycatcher with a greenish back. It is nearly identical to the tropical kingbird, and the two are best separated by voice. The brilliant Altamara oriole is a tropical species that barely enters the United States into South Texas. It is a year-round resident, and both male and female look alike. The female weaves a hanging nest that can be up to 26 inches long. The nest was suspended about 30 feet above the ground in a tree located behind the visitor center. The 2-story Hawk Observation Tower is wheelchair accessible and offers good views of the surrounding brush and woodlands. The tower also offers good hawk watching opportunities during spring and fall when thousands of migrating raptors may be seen flying overhead. So far, 300 bird species have been recorded at the National Butterfly Center, located only 1 mile east of the Bentsen-Rio Grande Valley State Park. The National Butterfly Center is not only a great place to spot a wide variety of butterflies with several first U.S. records, but is also a very popular birding area. The 100-acre preserve is home to the largest native plant botanical garden in the United States. The center is open every day, and admission for non-Rio Grande Valley residents is $10. Although not a target bird for visitors to the Rio Grande Valley, we could not resist getting footage of this cute eastern screech owl. This individual was roosting in a tree cavity above a popular walking trail at the center. Even though the eastern screech owl is common and widespread across the eastern United States, its small size and camouflaged plumage makes it easy to overlook. Birders and photographers will want to spend some time at the feeding station. Unlike Bentsen-Rio Grande State Park, which only feeds birds during the winter, staff at the National Butterfly Center stock the feeders year-round. The large chicken-like and noisy plain chacalaca is a common year-round resident at the center and throughout the Rio Grande Valley. Small groups can often be found foraging in trees and on the ground in search of fruit, buds, berries, and insects. They readily come into the bird feeders to supplement their diet with seeds and half oranges. The rather secretive olive sparrow typically forages in leaf litter concealed by dense undergrowth. Thankfully, they can sometimes be viewed in the open, feasting on seeds scattered under bird feeders. The long-billed thrasher is very similar to the brown thrasher of the eastern United States, but is grayer above and has a longer, more strongly decurved bill. This thrasher can be hard to see as it typically forages in dense understory. Its entire range is restricted to South Texas and northeast Mexico. The Audubon's oriole is a rather secretive bird in wooded habitats with dense, brushy undergrowth. It can sometimes be seen visiting the feeders for fruit and seed. Its entire U.S. range is restricted to South Texas. Unlike many other doves, the white-tipped dove is found singly or in pairs, often walking quietly along the ground in search of seeds and berries, and can often be found below bird feeders picking at scattered seed. The entire United States population is restricted to the Rio Grande Valley. It's hard to visit the Butterfly Center and not be distracted by the huge numbers and diversity of butterflies. This world-renowned center has recorded more than 240 species over the last 20 years. This red-bordered pixie was one of our favorites. Like many other tropical species to be found here, the red-bordered pixie only crosses the border into the Rio Grande Valley. In March of 2003, the Edinburg Scenic Wetlands and World Birding Center was the first of 9 world birding centers to open. Since its opening, 306 species of birds have been documented here. The visitor center and grounds are open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. The visitor center has a gift shop, and the 40-acre grounds contain 2 large ponds, a dragonfly pond, and a 3.5-acre butterfly garden, and 2.5 miles of trails. Admission is $3 for adults and $2 for seniors and students. The black-bellied whistling duck is a common year-round resident at the wetlands. Large numbers of several dozen or more birds can be found on the ponds. These unmistakable ducks have a red bill, white eye ring, and long red legs. Even before you see these ducks, you may hear their distinct whistling call. The much less numerous fulvous whistling duck can usually be found at the wetlands from March through September. Unlike the black-belly whistling duck, it has a darker bill and a chestnut belly, not black. One of the most prominent and vocal flycatchers in South Texas is the great kiskadee. Its incessant kiskadee song is a familiar sound in the valley. This colorful bird typically perches in the open, scanning for small insects to catch, and will often eat small fish and snails. Its black mask reduces glare and assists it in hunting in bright light or where light reflects off water. This bird regurgitated a fruit pit that it had just eaten. The mottled duck looks like a female mallard, but has a much darker body. The male has a bright yellow bill, and the female has a duller olive bill. It is a common year-round resident at the wetlands. The tiny Inca dove is covered in scaly-looking feathers, which helps it blend in with its surroundings. It has a distinct habit of nodding its head back and forth as it walks. Inca doves are found in the southwestern United States, south to northwestern Costa Rica. If you see or hear the raucous screeching calls of parakeets, they may well be green parakeets. These bright green birds could have originated from introduced individuals or by natural dispersion from northeastern Mexico. Regardless, they are established and countable on your life list. Established in 1943 for the protection of migratory birds, the Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge has a bird list of 361 species. The refuge consists of 2,088 acres of undisturbed subtropical thorn forest and wetlands, and is the largest tract of such habitat in the Rio Grande Valley. Daily passes are $5 per vehicle, and yearly passes are $10 per vehicle. Pintail lakes offer good waterfall viewing, especially during the winter months. The shallow wetlands also attract a good number of shorebirds between fall and spring. The trail length is 2 miles, 3.2 kilometers. The vermilion flycatcher is a common winter visitor to the refuge and is usually found in the vicinity of water that has an abundance of insects. It has a habit of sitting on exposed perches about 10 feet off the ground, patiently waiting to swoop on flying insects. Even smaller than the pied-billed grebe, the least grebe has distinct golden yellow eyes and a purplish-gray face and neck. It is a year-round resident on the ponds at the refuge. Both the Pintail Lakes and the Willow Lakes are a fairly short walk from the visitor center, and we highly recommend a visit to both areas. A 1.6 mile, 2.6 kilometer trail loops around the Willow Lakes, which consist of lush wetlands surrounded by dense trees. A wooden bird blind overlooking Willow Lakes is a great place to watch birds. It is also a popular hangout for photographers to patiently wait for that perfect shot. The green kingfisher is North America's smallest kingfisher. Its small size and secretive nature of quietly perching on low-hanging branches at Willow Lakes help it make it easy to overlook this little gem. It is a year-round resident at the refuge. The 40-foot-tall Hawk Watchtower is a great place to scan the skies for several species of hawks. This hanging suspension bridge is located next to the tower and can be good for viewing usually hard to see migrant warblers moving through the canopy. The Harris's hawk is a large, mainly dark-colored hawk that can often be found hunting in small groups. It can be found year-round on the Refuge. The gray hawk is a tropical specialty that barely crosses the border into southeastern Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. The Rio Grande Valley is the only area in the United States where it is a year-round resident. This medium-sized hawk is a pale gray with a finely barred chest, a distinct black and white banded tail, and short, rounded wings. Although the crested caracara may look like a hawk and behave more like a vulture, it is in fact a member of the falcon family. When scanning for this bird from the hawk tower or anywhere else, be sure to also scan the ground, as you may see a caracara in the company of vultures feasting on a carcass. The current species list for Estero Llano Grande State Park is an amazing 359 bird species. The Visitor Center and the park store have a large outdoor deck overlooking a wetland. It is not unusual to see 30 to 40 species of birds within an hour or two from the viewing area. Park admission is $5 for adults, no charge for children 12 and under. Situated just south of Westlake, the 230-acre park consists of wetlands, ponds, woodlands, and thorn scrub. There are 5 miles of trails, 2 miles of which are wheelchair accessible. Alligator Lake is a home to a few American alligators, but most of the time they can be hidden in the tall grass. Within the United States, the golden-footed woodpecker is restricted to mesquite brushlands and dry woodland areas of Texas and southwestern Oklahoma. Only the male has a distinct red cap, such as this bird shown here. The common paraki is a nocturnal bird that has a U.S. range restricted to South Texas. The easiest way to find one on its daytime roost is to ask the visitor center. Paraki often return to the same roosting spot day after day. Trying to find this well-camouflaged bird without local knowledge during the day is more like looking for a needle in a haystack. The buff-bellied hummingbird is a fairly common resident in the Rio Grande Valley. Some birds move northeast after the breeding season to winter along the Gulf Coast region. The easiest way to get good looks at the South Texas specialty is to watch the hummingbird feeders located behind the visitor center. The distinct white-tailed hawk has a slate gray head, white underparts, and a black band on its namesake white tail. This year-round resident may be found hanging in the breeze or hovering over open areas of the park, scanning for a wide variety of prey. The bizarre scruffy-looking groove-bill ani inhabits dry scrubby areas from South Texas through Mexico and Central America to northern South America. This coal-black cuckoo has an extremely long floppy tail and a large bill. When seen at close range, the namesake grooves can be seen. Although the groove-bill ani may be found year-round in the park, it is most numerous between May and October. The tropical parula is a rare visitor that is often associated with moss-covered trees. Its dark mask and lack of a broken white eye ring separates the species from the much more widespread northern parula of eastern North America. Usually a single bird may be present most winters at the park. We hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, please click the like button. And if you are not subscribed to our channel, we hope that you would consider subscribing so that you do not miss our next adventure.